is bashed in pretty damn good if I do say so myself. Cracked open at just the right angle. Poor little lady didn't even stand a chance. Yes, sir. I could not believe my eyes when I read about this. Seemed almost too good to be true.
Right. Who are you again?
Right. Doyle. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Esteemed doctor, accomplished surgeon and soldier, much like yourself. However, unlike yourself, I was shot in the leg, which prevents me from continuing those previously named professions. But I currently consider myself the first ever consultant detective.
Consulting detective?
It's a new term. I made it up. I'm quite proud of my cleverness, always has been. Simply, I mean whenever Scotland Yard's esteemed police force is in over their head, which they almost always are, I ensure my involvement to correct their mistakes.
Mistakes, sir?
Precisely.
Right. How did you get into my crime scene again?
Imagine my surprise when I received a letter this afternoon from Scotland Yard telling me a woman was found murdered under unusual circumstances in her flat the night before. They wanted me to come look at the body before it was taken away, so of course I rushed right over here. Another odd fact is that this morning they already had a person on trial. A man named Oscar Slater. Quite a rather quick accusation for blokes such as yourself. The previously stated mistake is that you have the wrong man.
Right. Well, I'm the investigator on this case, and there is no mistake. We caught the right man, and he's safely behind bars, and will be put to death at the end of the month. Those are the facts.
And there's nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact, Mr.
Gregson. Tobias Gregson. Friends and family call me Toby.
Well, Mr. Gregson, I am here to discover the truth. I doubt your facts to be truth, and I doubt the man you put behind bars to be the real murderer.
And how do you plan to find this truth?
Through the science of deduction. It's a rather new form of science where one focuses on the details to put together a larger picture. Something you're not too good at, I can see.
Deduction. Rubbish, that is. Utter rubbish. There is the big picture and the little details. You get rid of those and there's your truth.
To a great mind, there's no such thing as little details. Nonsense, you say. When did you get back from the war?
How did you
know? I did not know. I saw. For instance, I saw your haircut and the way you hold yourself. Strong, brave, a man of pointless action and neat, like all military men. Your stance, straight back, chin up, arms firmly at your side, also reinstate this idea. However, a nervous glint in your eye. Tell me, why are you so nervous?
No reason, sir.
Anyway, that and the constant need to end every phrase with the word sir tells me young military. Your face is tan, a tan that cannot be achieved in dull, cloudy, and terribly rainy England. Therefore, I went abroad. However, when we previously shook hands, I noticed you are not tan above the wrist, which tells me it was not a vacation due to a uniform, perhaps. The only logical explanation with your age and physique says war. Which war, you ask, based on current and pre-logical warfare? My guess would be the Second Afghan War. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this really is too much bloody fun. May I continue? Your current occupation, police officer? No. Sorry, inspector. And a mediocre one at that, based on your crime scene. You're young with a weak eye for detail. However, you needed to engross yourself in your work. However, why would you decide to join Scotland Yard? A distraction, perhaps? An obsession? Me educated guess, having returned to the dull and mundane ideal of civilian life, you are driven mad by the chaos of the world. Obviously needing money, you needed work. Work that you believed would make a positive difference in this world. You're a good person. Because you rose and went to where you are now, which returns me to the original question. When did you get back from the war? Based on the severity of your can, only a couple of weeks, a month at most, which is most impressive. Congratulations.
You're him. You're that writer, aren't you? Of course, you're just like him. Oh, what's his name? Sherlock Holmes, the great detective of Scotland Yard. I just read that short story in the London Society. What's it called? A Study in Scarlet. I seem to have misplaced my copy. Damn good read it was. A couple of guys down at the station joked about you helping with the investigation. Those bastards actually did it. You, a writer, helping solve this case. It's bloody brilliant.
Get out.
Sir?
Get out, I say. I will not waste my time on those silly fantasy stories. I am Arthur Conan Doyle. I have so much more to offer than those silly... Damn
I'm sorry to have to say this, but I'm afraid there's nothing we can do. A Giselle bullet shattered the bone and grazed the femoral artery. It's a miracle you're still alive. We patched you up the best we could, but there's simply nothing we can do. We have recommended a psychiatrist. We believe she will do you some good. It is with my deepest regret. You are hereby discharged from your regiment. Thank you for your service.
Got me work. Writer. I'm not just a writer. You don't see them asking Robert Louis Stevenson to help with dual personalities or multiple homicides like that strange Mr. Highcaptor. You certainly don't see them asking me dear friend J.M. Berry to help with missing children cases. He's a dear friend, but a little man always singing those show tunes and obsessing about his brother. Handsome fellow, though. I am so much more than that. You know, I met those two blokes and they said if I ever needed money to send in a short story to London society. I never imagined people would actually read about Sherlock Holmes, the greatest detective of Scotland Yard. Hardly an achievement with blokes like him. I want to change the world. Make a difference. I don't want that to be all I'm recognised for. I don't want followers. I spent years in medical school, sacrificing youth and health for this country. People want the world's greatest detective. I'll give them the real one, not some fictional lie. And now to discuss the elephant in the room. That's you, miss. They are not nearly quite as fat. Quite healthy looking, in fact, except for the fact that you're dead. Miss Marian Gilchrist. A pleasure to finally make your acquaintance. Finally. You know, Miss Gilchrist, me associates at Scotland Yard sent me this letter about you, and I was most intrigued.
My dear Mr. Arthur Doyle, there has been some bad business at the house of Miss Marian Gilchrist. Miss Marian Gilchrist, killed in her flat on Tuesday, December 21st, 1908. No signs of forced entry. Downstairs neighbours heard a heated debate escalating to an argument, followed by screaming physical attacks and a thud.
Must have been you, miss.
Followed by a crack of wood that sounded like a stick breaking.
That's peculiar.
The victim was found by said neighbours. Moments later, the murderer had left. The room had been ransacked, yet nothing was reported missing, according to the maid, Helen Lambie, who constantly kept Miss Gilchrist company, but had run out on an errand order. When she returned home, she found her mistress in her current state. Upon seeing her new unemployment, she left immediately, and no one has seen her since.
Interesting. Well, that's quite enough from the report. We all know how deceiving the police can be. What can you tell me? The victim is in her early 80s, though you look impeccable for your age, I must say. I love what you've done with your hair. The vibrant colour of your dress tells me you're wealthy and comfortable. However, when I took your hand before, I noticed you were married. The ring is gone, yet the lighter skin where it once sat suggests you were proudly every day you were married. Until, luckily for you, he passed away, leaving behind an enormous fortune. A woman of such wealth that it is rumoured that all her jewellery adds up to a sum of £3,000. Quite a marvellous collection, yet you were not one piece of it. Why? Because it was stolen. A small and subtle tear found on your chest. Based on the placement of the tear, my guess would be by a brooch, and a large one at that, removed quickly. Yet why steal a brooch and nothing else? Fear of getting caught. Blunt trauma to the head, obviously by a large object, causing the victim to bleed out. My God, miss, you do look terrible. Tell me, how are you feeling?
Arthur, how are you feeling?
I'm fine.
How is the leg?
I'm fine.
Would you like to sit down?
I said my leg is fine.
I do wish you would speak to me. I am your therapist after all.
Nothing to report.
You know, Arthur, you never have been much of a speaker, so we're going to try something a little different this week. I want you to write a story. Whatever comes to mind. No idea is too small. I think it would do some good. Clear your mind.
My mind doesn't need to be cleared, it needs work.
Your mind works too hard. You overthink. The doctor said you would be able to walk without a cane months ago.
Rubbish.
I believe your injury is completely psychosomatic. So write a story. Clear your head. Focus.
Focus. No first entry, yet you have not one but two pat knocks on your door. And when I took your hand before, I noticed a slight aroma of perfume. Common procedure of one of your stature. Yet why would you wear perfume in your own house unless you had a guest? Which, unless you were starving, explains the dining arrangements. 2 seats well prepared, obviously by the maid. Yet finished shows a murderer at least had the decency to allow you to finish your final supper before your departure, Miss Gilchrist. Miss Gilchrist obviously must have sent the maid out during dinner so she and her guest could talk privately. But who was your dinner guest? Oh, do shut up.
I didn't say anything, sir.
Know what you were thinking. That's far more annoying. Well, what is it now? Come to mock the cripple? Laugh at the joke that he
The
is?
supervisors, sir. They're downstairs. They've told me to tell you they can only give you about 30 to 45 minutes up here.
30 to 45 minutes? That's mad it is. Nothing brilliant can be done in that amount of time.
Right. Sorry, sir.
Well, what is it, Mr. Sorry, Inspector?
I just wanted to apologize, sir, for earlier. I didn't mean to offend you. I never meant for that. You're not a joke. I was watching you. Your observation of me, Miss Gilchrist, was brilliant. Never seen anything like it.
Thank you. I'm sorry, also. I erupted and allowed the emotions to control me. I lost the better part of me. There's simply more to me than being a writer, you know.
I know, sir. Sir, may I ask a question?
If you must, of course.
Your story is brilliant. But why did you write a story if you didn't want to be considered a writer?
Well, Mr. Gregson, that is your name, correct?
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson. Friends and family call me Toby.
Well, Tobias, I will be completely honest with you. I present myself as a very confident person. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, esteemed doctor, accomplished surgeon and soldier. And the fact of the matter is, after the accident, and frankly, even beforehand, I was mediocre at all of these. I understood the process, and, well, I could speak the medical practices, and I have a keen eye for details, you can see, but I was never accepted into my field of study. Soldier. Well, it doesn't exactly take a consultant detective to see how that one turned out. I was given the advice that if I was ever short of money, which I was due to the scarcity of my work, to send in a short story to London society. So I wrote up Study in Scarlet in a couple of days, and I showed it to my therapist. And well, she was quite shocked. Thought it was brilliant. She thought my writings were so good that she had it published in a local magazine without my knowledge. Oh, I was furious when I saw my writings published. Embarrassed even. She also believed that expressing myself through Dr. Watson and Mr. Holmes that I would come to peace with myself. May even be able to walk properly again. Bloody rubbish, really. They're merely characters in a silly story.
Well, I thought it was excellent. Truly inspirational, really. I'm sorry, sir. Sir, may I ask another question?
You've already been quite a distraction. Why not? Ask away.
I don't mean to be a bother, sir. It is just intriguing to me, your writings. Why is it you tell the story through Dr. Watson? Sherlock is obviously a more interesting character. Watson is rather boring and a bit droll, if I do say so myself.
Well, that's where you're wrong. I dare say Dr. Watson is the most fascinating and important character in the whole bloody story.
Well, how so, sir?
Simple people, much like yourself, consider Watson the everyday man, merely mediocre. Yet mediocrity knows nothing higher than itself but talent. Oh, talent immediately recognizes genius. Meaning, when Mr. Holmes, be as brilliant as he was, if Dr. Watson wasn't hopelessly lost beside him, constantly praising him, baffled by his brilliance, of course not. It'd be rather boring. Any person can be smart, observant, being an ass, a simple me boy. It takes much more to be humbled. Take Watson, a man who's been crippled by war, completely at rock bottom, searching for a little inspiration in his life, trying to find a bit of excitement is much more
relatable.
Precisely.
Why are you so embarrassed by your writing?
I've just always believed I was meant for so much more. A writer that is stuck behind a desk, driven mad by the constant ticks of a typewriter, playing make-believe. I spent years in medical school, sacrificed my youth and health for this country, only to return to this dull routine. My mind rebels as damnation. Give me work, give me problems, give me intricate puzzles or in-depth analysis. I'm in the proper atmosphere. But I despise this dull routine of existence. I crave for mental experimentation. I desire more than what can be discovered in writing silly fantasy stories. I am Arthur Conan Doyle. I have so much more to offer than Dr. Watson and Mr. Holmes.
You're wrong.
I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, sir. Do forgive me. But these characters are you, and you are these characters. You're physically wounded from war, and after returning, you would do anything from being bored. Trust me, I know. But you're looking for a sense of adventure again, just like Dr. Watson, and you're bloody brilliant, if I do say so, sir. The science of deduction, the eye for details. You have a tendency to be an arse sometimes, but I can see it's because you're afraid to get close to people. The brilliance of Sherlock is just the rigid and extreme version of
everything I've dreamed of doing and being ever. You're quite clever, Tobias. You may make a proper inspector out of you yet.
You can call me Toby, sir. Friends call me Toby.
Friends? Well, Toby, I'm afraid my time here is almost up. I have to get back to work. The game's afoot.
Game, sir.
Life's a game, me boy. Who wins and who loses doesn't matter. All that matters is you keep playing.
Yes, sir.
But I must get back to work. A man has been falsely accused of murder, and I will not rest until I have discovered the truth.
But it is true, sir. We have facts. In this journal, it is quite obvious that he is the murderer.
And what did I say earlier, Toby? There's nothing more deceptive than...
An obvious fact.
Quite right.
Perhaps you're right, sir. Sir, I will be downstairs. If I may say one more thing. Sherlock is brilliant, but perhaps the real genius is the one who wrote the story out. In a way, you're far more clever than Mr. Holmes could ever be.
Thank you, Toby. It takes a brave man to speak honestly. But it takes a humble one to accept that honesty.
He said.
Blasted Cain. Thank you, my boy. And perhaps you're right. I have always been proud of my cleverness. But for now, the case. If I find anything of interest, I'll give a shout.
Yes, sir.
Nice young man. Good person about him. A bit slow. Facts, he says. Here are his facts.
Mr. Oscar Slater, male, mid to late 20s, slender but well built, found previously guilty for operating a gambling ring. Pimp, selling several women for prostitution. 5 accounts of robbery. Found selling a diamond brooch. Sold brooch to buy tickets to flee to America with his mistress. Bought tickets under false name. Tickets purchased hours after incident at Miss Gilchrist's flat.
Well, of course it sounds terrible when you list it all off like that.
Carried a small upholster hammer believed to be the murder weapon.
A small hammer? Honestly? small upholstered hammer bashing a woman's head. The little devil would surely break after one hit. Based on the deformity of your head, the object would have to be a large weapon like a cement block or the spade or a chair. Oh, it couldn't possibly be a chair. Oh, it's brilliant, I tell you. The perfect, conspicuous murder weapon. A normal chair. 4 easily balanced legs, perfectly polished for a woman of such stature. This woman would not have poor, unbalanced furniture. However, a second chair, the bottom of which is ruined due to the fact that it was used other than the intended duty of a chair, to sit. The legs are ruined due to the inflicted force. However, the noticeable colour difference, obviously stained with blood, with a pathetic attempt to remove it. Oh, it's impossible. However, once one eliminates the impossible, whatever is left must be the answer. Oh, it's brilliant, I tell you. The perfect conspicuous murder weapon. It's brilliant. Oh, what else do you have to offer me? What's this? Picture of a young boy. That's odd. To me favourite aunt. Even more peculiar. What else is there?
Oscar Slater is believed to have an alibi, but was not allowed to testify at the hearing. The defendant was not allowed to speak for himself, nor was anyone allowed to testify for him, as it was believed it would clear his name.
Well, that's the bloody point, isn't it? Not allowed to testify. It's a travesty of justice, it is. Now this man is sentenced to death by hanging by the end of the month. Well, not if I have anything to say about it. They tried this man by looking at his person, not at the evidence, Miss Gilchrist. Miss Gilchrist, why would you have invited this man into your home when the two of you have no correlation? The other fact of the matter is, this place is littered with numerous jewels and luxuries, yet he only steals one brooch. Highly unlikely. This man was a sneak, a thief and a scoundrel trying to find a fresh start in America. But it seems he'd fit right in. This man used a false name to escape with his mistress to America, but who was this mistress? Distraction for a later date. From now I know the murder weapon, but who and why is still a mystery. The answer has to be here somewhere. Miss Gilchrist, unfortunately I don't believe you have any more information you can give me, can you? No, I didn't think so. I did think it. However, your room may be able to. For instance, your fireplace. Elegant, covered in the typical items. Books, clock, an odd decorative art piece that has little to no sentimental value. However, inside a fireplace, ashes in a recent fire. However, what's this? Oh, a note. You best not be keeping secrets from me, Marian.
To my nephew, I am contacting you in regards to the inheritance of my estate. As you know, my husband, Mycroft, unfortunately passed away years ago. We never had children as we married so late in our lives. My siblings passed away years ago, including my dear sister and your charming mother, Molly, as I was the youngest by a fair number of years. Unfortunately, this set of circumstances means my estate would be left to none other than you and your sister. This war has changed you. You are not the same young boy I used to love. You used to be a good person, but now you've become obsessed with money, obsessed with rank, obsessed with a legacy, and I will not enable this deterioration any longer. I believe someday you can come back from this, but...
Damn! The rest of the note seems to have been destroyed. The answer must be here somewhere. What's the rest of your room? Dining table's already been examined. Desk, covered in the typical items and a large amount of books. Treasure Island. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Oh, I would not have believed you to be a fan of an American, Miss Gilchrist. What's this? Inheritance and Succession, a study of law. Little light reading, Miss Gilchrist. Even more peculiar. A study in Scarlet, the first adventures of Sherlock Holmes. What you do in this world is a matter of no consequence. The question is, what can you make people believe you have done? I was quite proud of this one, Marian. It is a capital mistake to theorize before one has all the information. Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories, instead of theories to suit facts. So, quite right if I do say so myself. It was elementary.
Perhaps the real genius is the one who wrote the story out.
Perhaps. No. Focus. Inheritance and succession, a study of law. A typical order of preferences may be as follows. Surviving spouse, descendants such as children or grandchildren, parents of the deceased, siblings, nieces and nephews. Numerous points are marked on the table of contents. Rearranging the way your estate is shared out. Rewriting the will. Death without a will, the rules of intestacy. Page 20. If a person were to pass before writing the will, then the estate would be split between the remaining descendants, including but not limited to bank accounts, securities, real estate, and other assets you own at time of death. Tell me, Miss Gilchrist, do you have a will? It has to be here somewhere. The last will and testament of Marian Gilchrist. Blank. The last will and testament of Marian Gilchrist. Blank. The last will and testament. Blank. 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 All blank. Hello. What's this? A ripped photograph. Oh, wait a moment. To my favourite aunt, from your dear Toby.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson. Friends and family call me Toby.
Oh, you can't be Toby. Toby? Toby!
Did you find anything of interest, sir?
Toby. My dear, dear Toby. Please sit, sir. Sit.
Sir?
You are a clever boy, Toby. But not clever enough, I'm afraid.
Sir?
We can't command our love, Toby, but we can command our actions. The night is December 21st, 1908. It's a cold, windy London evening, chill enough for a warm fire and a nice dinner between an aunt and her used-to-be favourite nephew, who has changed after his return from war. They used to be close before he left, but the war has changed him for the worse, I'm afraid. He returns, obsessed with money, legacy, and a rank, a madness that can drive anyone to immeasurable lengths. The nervous glint in your eye, which I mentioned earlier, I assumed was due to the fact that you were so young and so clearly unskilled that you hated to look the fool. However, the true intent behind your nerves was your very involvement with the very case you were supposed to have solved. However, what would have driven a good-hearted boy to murder his own aunt in cold blood? Simple. The night was not a cheerful family get-together in any means, but rather a business meeting to discuss Miss Marian Gilchrist's enormous fortune and where it would end up after her passing. Not knowing how to tell her beloved nephew that he would not receive any compensation for his loss after her death, she wrote him a note instead to express that remorse, and gave it to him that very night. Obviously hoping for more pleasant news, you eagerly open the note to find it very disappointing set of circumstances and unspoken disapproval from your only remaining relative. This has erupted the night into an interesting yet satisfying set of events. A heated argument between loved ones, supposed to be private, but like most disagreements became public, as heard from the downstairs neighbours. This argument raised even more emotions, causing the night to doom itself into chaos and disaster. You devise skirts and let your emotions control you. Becoming terribly distraught and overwhelmingly enraged, you grab the nearsighted and inflict the most physical harm as possible. A chair. A bit excessive in my taste, but would get the job done. Used at just the right height and momentum cause a deep gash to erupt on Miss Gilchrist's head, killing her instantly. A chair, being the only weapon in this room that could have been used, not a hammer. How does Scotland Yard get anything done with silly accusations such as that? A chair being heavy enough that only a man of your build could have lifted it to the height and speed needed to cause the inflicted damage, proving to me that the maid could not have done this deed. In a rush of panic, he tried to clean up his mistake, but unfortunately, the blood did not come out of good old mahogany. He is nervous, but not completely dim-witted. In a final attempt to get his grubby little hands on the fortune, he goes to the books, literally. Inheritance and Succession, quite a good read, if I do say so myself. However, imagine my surprise when I discover a copy of me short story, A Study in Scarlet, the very story you admitted to being so fond of. Why would Miss Gilchrist use this as a bookmark, I asked myself, unless it wasn't hers at all, but the only expandable thing you had on your person that night? You said you misplaced it, I believe, if I remember correctly, which I do. You mark your place in an attempt to return to this book and brush up on the law after this all blows over. However, there's one thing left that you had to do. The will. You could not leave it here in the hope that someone would find it, give all your aunt's assets to the only other remaining heir. Your sister. You constantly searched the room only to find numerous copies of the blank testament and will, as you constantly contemplated about whether or not you were deserving of it. However, there's one place left to look. The safe. Or in this case, a wooden box. You break into it and steal it, sounding like a stick breaking. However, in your excitement and greed, you left behind the one piece of evidence that was you by name. By piecing together this picture both figuratively and literally, we find a family photograph between an aunt and her used-to-be favourite nephew, Tobias Gregson, but his friends and family call you Toby. The suspect thought leaving the scene of the crime was male, late 20s, well-built. Millions of people meet that very descriptive description. However, working for Scotland Yard had its virtues, but virtue is not a word that applied to the situation. Having known numerous terrible people, who other to blame this on than the thief? And then using your power of investigator, you made it so he could not defend himself in court, and allowed him to take the punishment that was obviously meant for you. An unquestionable accusation in one day, highly unlikely unless corruption is involved. Oscar Slater was the perfect person to pin this on, which brings me to the final piece of this puzzle. Her brooch. You knew Oscar, having done numerous arrests in the past and doing your research, so you knew he could not resist the charm of a beautiful woman. The maid, Helen Lambie, knew you were at the flat that night, so in her controlled hysteria to cover your tracks, you offer her a portion of the fortune if she would do you a small favor. You steal the brooch, give it to her, and convince her to use her charm and womanhood to convince Oscar to find a fresh start in America. Oh, Oscar was a predictable man. Knowing he would use a false name to escape with his newfound mistress to America, and using the brooch as a form of payment, he became instantly ensnared in your scheme. The maid, Helen Lambie, has not been seen in several days, due to the fact that she would not return, and turn you in due to the fact that it would risk involvement for her punishment. Oh, thus tying up all loose ends. Am I correct?
Arthur, how are you feeling?
I'm fine. Oh, of course, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I never meant to kill her. I never meant for any of this to happen. I'm a good person. I'm a good person! I know you are, Toby. I knew that from the very beginning. Just like I know you're not going to shoot me now. I must say I'm most appreciative of this adventure, Toby. It's been a humbling one for both of us, I believe. But I must say, this isn't bad. Quite good, if I do say so myself. I have always been proud of my cleverness. It was brilliant, sir. Please, it was elementary, me dear Toby. But this isn't some silly story. This isn't made up. This is my life, and she took it away. I just needed the money, all right. I needed the money, and she took that away from me. She took it away. It was mine.
I had nothing left. After the war, there was nothing!
Don't talk to me about nothing. I know what it's like to have nothing. After the war, I lost me work, me research, me ability to walk. Don't talk to me about nothing. I never wanted to be a writer, Toby, but sometimes life has other plans for us.
No, life has no plan for me
Life's
now.
a game, me boy. Who wins and who loses doesn't matter. All that matters is we keep playing.
Oh, I'm not playing anymore.
Wait. Your aunt loved you. She loved you so much. She believed that you could come back from this. Look at me, Toby. Look at me, Toby. I can walk again. If I can come back from this, so can you.
I can't.
Yes, you can, Toby. Just let me help you. Let me help you, Toby. Let me help you the way you helped me. Let me help you, Toby. You can come back from this.
Let me turn myself inside. My supervisors are downstairs. Me aunt wants me to remember who I was for me. Let me do this. Please. Let me do this. Goodbye, sir. And sir, don't stop writing.
I won't, mister. Sorry. Inspector Toby Gregson. Come, Sherlock and Dr. Watson. A new adventures awaits. The game is afoot!